Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Tech Talk that's hosted by DigitalOcean. And this is to discuss about how to maximize performance with DigitalOcean managed databases and OpenSearch in particular. So today I'll be the moderator, and to introduce myself, I'm Sricharan Madhavapedi. I'm the Senior Solutions Engineer at DigitalOcean, and I've been close to 5.5 years tenure at DigitalOcean so far. And I'm very excited to introduce our guest speakers today, who is Devnil, Senior Product Manager, DigitalOcean, and Olina, Senior Developer Advocate, Ivan. I would pause a minute and let them introduce themselves.
Sure, I can go first real quick. So my name is Dave. I am Senior Product Manager, as Sri mentioned, at DigitalOcean. I lead all managed databases here at DO. So just excited to talk to you all about our managed databases and particularly about OpenSearch. Over to you, Elena.
My name is Elena. I work at Ivan. I work a lot with data on a daily basis with a lot of data solutions, and OpenSearch, I must admit, is one of my favorites. So very happy to be here and to participate in this conversation.
Thanks, Devnil and Olina. So moving on to next. Just wanted to brief you what's on the agendas to get an idea about what we're learning from the industry experts such as Devnil and Olina. So firstly, you would get an overview about the OpenSearch offering, which is on DigitalOcean, and also fundamentals on OpenSearch, just to get into a brief and a small teasers to start with the conversation and slowly getting into the groove. And then obviously, who doesn't like the security aspect and monitoring one would expect on OpenSearch, and a bit deep into AIML topics, which is the vector search. And we also have the KNN multi-modal search, and finally ending up with Q&A. If in case we can't get your question, there is a button at the top that can connect you with our architects. There you go. Just a brief about what managed offerings, managed products offer any use case that DigitalOcean offers as part of managed databases, which falls under Devnil's vertical. We have like MySQL, managed MySQL, Postgres, Redis, which is also called caching, and we have managed Kafka, managed MongoDB, and managed OpenSearch. So today's focus is predominantly on OpenSearch, which is the I would say the latest entry to the DigitalOcean's portfolio, and we're going to deep dive into it. So what I'll do is I'll pause my screen sharing, and I'll come onto the dais, the stage, to talk about that. Let me stop sharing. And yes, so it's good to meet Devnil here, the original source of truth, the senior product manager. So you being the product manager, you would have come across multiple requests or multiple challenges in getting a product live. And firstly, kudos for getting such a products. As I showed you the portfolio, which was very good and very commendable. So I'll start on Devnil, few questions, and also the motive is to make us understand the technology and also the concepts, so that end of the day today, when we go out of this tech talk, we'll feel accomplished that we learned something new. Same applies to Olina as well. But I'll park you, Olina, for a side. You've got some rest. But in the meantime, I'll go ahead with Devnil to start with. Are you ready?
Sounds good. And by the way, I love, I've never been called the original source of truth before. I think that's the coolest thing.
Yes, obviously, because the product manager is the idea behind from the backstages, and yes, definitely.
Yeah, excited to get into it.
Yep. So tell me, I'm starting with a most difficult question. What made you think about OpenSearch product on DO, and what was the motive behind?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Sri. So what we saw, by the way, DigitalOcean, we support developers all the way scaling up to small to medium businesses, have a simple way to run their cloud, right? We try to make it as easy as possible. And what we noticed is that as customers scaled, they wanted better visibility into their logs, their application logs, their infrastructure logs, just looking to learn more about what was going on with their applications. So that's what started our journey to provide managed OpenSearch, which, as you may know, is a logs management and visibility and retention analytics. Just gives you more insights into what's going on with your application. So that was kind of what instigated this whole thing. And as a part of that, we wanted to make it easy to use, easy to integrate, and very predictable when it comes to our pricing. So I'm happy that we've been able to achieve all of those.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I second the simplicity of DigitalOcean. That's definitely it plays a key role. Moving on, I just want to. I'm just curious to start with what is actually OpenSearch. What is the ideal scenario to use OpenSearch? In a way, when to use OpenSearch?
Sure, sounds good. I'm seeing that there's some echo. Not sure where that's coming from. So hopefully we can get that fixed. So real quick, we can talk about what is OpenSearch. OpenSearch, it's an open source search and analytics suite. It's forked from Elasticsearch. It's good for real-time search, for observability, log analysis, and even AI enhanced search. You can use it for enhancing your application with just better search capabilities, like the search bar in your application. You can think of it that way. And also just forwarding logs and having them in a central spot for you to analyze what's going on, be it anomaly detection, data insights. There are custom plugins that can enhance machine learning, so you can kind of use AI to drive even more insights out of your data that you store into OpenSearch and your logs. So it's a very versatile tool, mostly around just understanding deeper insights into what's going on with your application.
Got it. No, thanks for clearing the question on what is actually OpenSearch. Now comes a question which is a bit different from how is it actually different from Elasticsearch? Because we hear that a lot in the industry terms. So how is OpenSearch different from Elasticsearch?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So we at DigitalOcean support the OpenSearch community. We're actually one of the founding members of the Linux OpenSearch Foundation. And that's the biggest difference here, right? Is that Elasticsearch has a license behind it, and OpenSearch is open source. It's actually forked from Elasticsearch. So there will be some feature divergence between the two. I know there are, machine learning plugins and capabilities for OpenSearch that the community has built. And so that's the community that we are behind at DigitalOcean, and managed OpenSearch is what you'll find amongst our offerings.
Got it. Okay, interesting. Moving on, everybody loves to know about how the OpenSearch cluster is working fine. So do you guys offer any insights or monitoring on DigitalOcean? And if so, what does it cover and what's the cost involved for that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we give you the basic insights around CPU utilization, RAM utilization, and all of that insights and monitoring is included as part of your managed offering, in addition to things like free daily backups, point-in-time recovery, security at rest, free updates, keeping up to date with the latest releases. So you can just worry about building your application, your core business logic. We take care of kind of everything else that has to do with running your OpenSearch.
Okay, you actually covered a bit of a good point as backups, 3 backups, and what is the retention period?
Yeah, so we allow up to 7 days of retention, and you can do point-in-time recovery anytime within that.
Okay, thanks for clearing that. And also, I'm curious, you mentioned free bandwidth part, and also how does the bandwidth work from connecting to other managed databases such as MySQL or Postgres? Like if I'm connecting my MySQL cluster with OpenSearch for log forwarding, how does the cost of bandwidth actually works for that?
Yeah, sure. So for any database on DigitalOcean managed databases, we don't charge for bandwidth. Bandwidth is free. So going from internally from your databases into OpenSearch, That internal bandwidth is free. Our pricing for any of our managed databases is based on how much compute you're using and how much storage you're allocating to your engine, as well as how many nodes that you have in your OpenSearch. For example, OpenSearch, we allow up to 15 nodes, which means that your entire cluster can go north of 40 terabytes. So you have ample room to scale. And it's flat rate pricing, right? So for example, our OpenSearch starts at $19 a month. And if that's good enough for you, that's what you'll pay at the end of the month. There's no surprise billing kind of going on here. It's just very predictable.
Got it. No, I'm a devil's advocate here, Devnil. So I'm going to speak for the audience here. So I'm just going to clear a couple of things over there. So yes, that's definitely a good thing. But I'm going to ask you about. You would have seen close to 3 months from the product launch as of now, and what was the biggest challenge which you noticed or which came to your notice when you're actually migrating a big customer from elsewhere? Could be any other, even on-premise. So I'm asking a bit of like, how did you assist them? How did you nurture them? And what can be expected in terms of a big customer migration?
Yeah, absolutely. And this might touch on your question, Peter. That's a great question. We actually had a customer. They have a all-in-one bug reporting platform, and they had a sizable instance on Elastic Cloud. And so we helped them migrate into DigitalOcean. The biggest challenge was basically ensuring that we had the right size available in terms of number of nodes and amount of CPU, amount of storage for them to continue running successfully with their workload. And we were able to manage that migration. And the way we did that is, we even have part of my engineering team involved for when we have a large migration coming in, so that we're kind of there to help you with any hiccups along the way. Getting that data over can take time as well, but we're kind of with you through that whole process. So that's how we can kind of differentiate from some of these other clouds, giving you that kind of premium support to get that workload over. So we've done that successfully so far. And yeah, we're happy to help any customers that are looking to migrate over to our OpenSearch.
So did I hear it correctly? Because I didn't know this as well. Like you sort of did handholding for this customer and nurtured them with the support of engineering?
That's right. They had 20,000 Postgres reads per second that they were trying to analyze and look for what queries were the slowest. So when they brought that over, we even helped them kind of understand that. So it's the whole journey. We're here to help you and handhold you through that process.
Oh, that's Absolutely. Amazing. I didn't know this, Devnil. That's good to know.
Yeah. No, we're here for you.
Yeah, definitely. So I would also like to know about, as the question came from Peter, I would just love to know about how do you actually support AI/ML workloads with OS in terms of the OS here is OpenSearch. So how do you actually support in terms of the infra support, infra level or product level? So any insights on that?
Yeah, so I can actually touch on Ricardo's good question here about how do you enable with vector search. And Elena is going to have a lot to say on this front, so I'll make sure I'll leave that room for her. But no, you don't necessarily need a bigger cluster size. Those plugins should work just by using the existing documentation for OpenSearch to integrate AI/ML capabilities, be it anomaly detection, approximate nearest neighbor search. It's all available, right? The cluster size is more dependent on how much traffic you're getting into and out of your cluster. And we have scaled starting from not much traffic all the way to a lot of traffic. So we'll support you in any way that you show up. But yeah, there's no requirement on cluster size there. Yeah, so we'll talk more about the specifics on the vector in Olena's segment.
Yes. Now I think I'll park you aside, Devnil, and I kept waiting Olena for a time. Now I think it's time for her. And the topic, you have given a nice lead for me to take into the vector search. So thanks, Devnil. I'll again get back to you.
Thank you, Sri.
Yes. Hi, Olena. There you go.
Oh, hello.
Yes, there you go. There's already a question for you on. So tell me what is actually vector search and how it works. And Ricardo is already eager to learn about it.
Yeah, so vector search is an exciting topic for me, and to understand, actually, for those of our viewers who don't really know vector search or never used vector search, to understand where it comes from and why actually we need it, I should first mention the difference between the lexical search and semantic search. And we've been using lexical search for quite a long time already, and it's where the search engine looks for literal matches without understanding the overall meaning of the query. But it's actually super amazing for structured search where we compare exact values, exact words, or even with OpenSearch, you can also say, okay, I'm looking for those words, but this is like the distance, maximum distance between the words I want to see. So all those things. However, lexical search has its limitations because when you're searching for a dog, a puppy is also a dog. But if you want to kind of find them or both of them, you need to introduce dictionaries, and then you need to maintain dictionaries and all of those things. So that makes it way more complicated. That's why we are moving, when it comes to textual information, we are moving from lexical search to semantic search, which cares about the meaning. And among a variety of ways how you can implement semantic search, vector search is the easiest because there we are relying on a machine learning model, which we kind of taken there. So the model which kind of knows the context of the text we have. And then that model will detect semantical relationships between different things, whether it is text, images, or sounds, or whatever. And then it will distribute the object in a multi-dimensional space. Usually it's like 1,000 dimensions or over it, according to the characteristics of those objects. So each dimension will be responsible for a specific characteristic. Usually we don't really know because models are quite smart and they can detect those characteristics on their own. But this is what is kind of behind vector search, if I have to summarize it in a couple of minutes.
No, I think that's definitely a good start. And yes, it was short, but it was very point oriented, definitely. And good to know. I mean, as you are likely renowned for, I'm glad to learn more in keen and about it. And that's why the next question for you is, since you have in the agenda, we already mentioned about the KNN, which is K nearest neighbors. And I saw a couple of articles on your LinkedIn which you spoke about it. So I'm keen on learning what is actually it is, and also I have a follow-up question up post you answer what is KNN.
Okay, so KNN. So for those also, maybe some of the viewers spend some time on leet code or like, you know, those algorithms and how we can solve those problems. We do know that brute force solutions, they are straightforward, logical, but they usually don't do well with performance. So if we do the KNN, and KNN is an algorithm which helps us then search in that multidimensional space, which I mentioned, where we put all those objects and it's like, let's find something which is similar to this particular search query. And this algorithm to find those similar objects, nearest objects, is a KNN algorithm. However, like K nearest neighbors algorithm. And it will look through all the neighbors there in the data set and find what are the closest. It's actually kind of perfect from the point of kind of retrieving really closest neighbors. However, we will have to iterate over all items in that database, in that data set. So we try to be faster than that with approximation algorithms. And this is not very new to vector search. Actually, like we do this with databases and data tables all the time because we are using indexes. And technically, that's the same. Behind approximation, ANN approximation algorithm is an index. And that index helps us to shape the data in advance to make sure that when the request comes to us, we can faster find what is relevant. And here, like with all variety of indexes which we have for relational databases and the rest, we do have differences between indexes where an index we can use a smaller index, maybe performance will not be improved that much, but the work with that index will be faster, or maybe the index will be bigger, heavier, and require more processual power, but then the speed of the query will be later faster. So there are different varieties which OpenSearch offers. And yeah, so this is the difference between those two things.
You actually covered as a byproduct about the approximate nearest algorithm as well. So that that is actually good. Thanks for the extra knowledge, because I didn't know. I thought both were same, and then you actually explained the slightest difference, and you also covered the concept of indexes. I'm pretty sure everybody here on the call would experience or even accept the beauty of indexes, because that will actually help you to set up or cache in a way. I don't like to call cache, because indexes are a bit different, but it helps you to have a better performance. So thanks Ulina, for that insight. You actually covered also in your first point when you also told about multimodal search. So I'm keen on that, because what actually is multimodal search? Is it the English meaning of multiple models you're covering together, or like is it as simple as that, or like how is it?
So the thing behind multiple, so usually when we search for a text representation, we store some kind of a text in the database, and then you type, and then we semantically find something relevant to what you are typing and what you're describing. But what if we actually store not text, but we store images or sounds or videos, and then models, because the whole thing behind vector search is to transform the information, whatever information we have, whether it is in the state of a text or image or whatever, we transform it into a vector. Therefore, vector search is the name of the search. We transform and store those vectors, and then later you can, if you have this the capability of a model to work with different models of data. So for example, there is a clip model from OpenAI, and it understands quite well both text and images. So both text and images, it will transform to vectors which will be aligned on that multidimensional space, so that first you can process all the images you have, maybe for your products or something else, like then store the data with the vectors in OpenSearch, and then later you can type the description, what you want to find among those images, and then that data is transformed in the similar vector with same kind of dimensions and so on, compared to what is in the database. And in this way, you're looking for images, but you are describing those images. And this, for me, it's actually opens a lot of really useful scenarios where in the past, we had to go and describe an image, for example, with a lot of metadata, so that we can then use lexical search to compare all of that. Now you don't have to do it. The same for other representations of data. This is quite powerful, and also kind of opens a lot of interesting possibilities to combine those different types of data.
Okay, I think that example actually gave a clear cut. So it's as simple as such, where you're combining both images, sound, videos together, and that's why it's the multimodal. So it's like mixing of multiple things. Okay, I think I guessed it correctly, even though I didn't know it to the full potential in the beginning. And thanks for elaborating a bit more and making it very clear. And I think I'm very keen on knowing about what is actually, according to you, how, like, what are the key things, like top 3 things that you would consider yourself in developing a memory-rich AI system. Just top 3 things to start with.
Memory-rich systems. When we are talking about memories, these memories usually are summaries of things which we store and can search through them. So I would consider, like you said, 3 things. Combining here we are talking about embedding, so the vector search, together with large language models. And the third thing, use OpenSearch for that. So.
Yeah, I think you gave a perfect ending by using all the 3, and then that's I think thanks a lot, Olina, for your knowledge. I would go back to Devnil, because I've packed a few more questions, and I would love to know more and really appreciate your knowledge and expertise. And folks, I think reach out to Olina and Devnil on LinkedIn or any other platforms where you can learn more about, because I've learned a lot from Olina's blogs and Olina's LinkedIn post, definitely, and it has it's worth checking. And moving on to you, Devnil. So what are the different mission types that we support, or you intended to support on OpenSearch?
Yeah, machine types. So we have shared instances, right? If you're just trying to get started with OpenSearch, maybe you don't have heavy production workloads. But then, of course, we also have dedicated instance types, memory optimized instance types, because OpenSearch is a bit more memory intensive. And those would be for if you have production workloads that you have customers relying on you to stay up. We're behind you with that, where we have dedicated instance types to support that.
Okay, so the $19 is the shared one, right? To start with?
That's correct. Yeah, the $19 is a shared one, and then it scales up from there into our dedicated offering, where I think we have a general purpose offering as well as a memory optimized offering.
Got it. Thank you. So I would also know, because you're the product manager, what are the other features that you have it on roadmap overall holistically on the managed databases wing vertical, and if any on the OpenSearch as well. So I'm just keen because the speed at which the recent product launches, it's been fantastic, like starting from scalable storage. So I would love to know about. I want to hear, as I told you, the original source of truth. So as a product manager, what's in your pipeline in the next coming months?
Yeah, for sure. So one is just making sure that we're always listening to customers. I think it starts with all of you on what you need on our roadmap, right? And so our largest plan goes up to 8 CPUs and 64 gigs of RAM on a single node. That can scale to 15 nodes, so you can multiply that out. So we have very powerful instances available for you. You can add disks separately. So previously, last year we had it where if you wanted more disk, you had to scale your compute, and that got expensive for customers quickly. So since then, we've released scalable storage, where you don't have to upgrade your compute if you just need more storage. You can independently add storage as needed to manage the cost of your scaling. So that was top of mind. Now, when we're looking ahead specifically for OpenSearch, right, it's about just making it easier and easier. So right now, we know a lot of our customers deploy their applications to Kubernetes. I think I saw like 80% of applications down the line are going to be on Kubernetes, just because it's easier to get everything in sync. And then, of course, we have app platform as well, right, where you can just pretty much put your GitHub link to your repo, click a button, and it spins it all up for you. So it's our platform products are they have these logs coming out of them, infrastructure logs, right? Cluster event logs for Kubernetes. And so what we have developed and what we're working on is you go to the settings panel for your Kubernetes, for your app platform, or even any managed database that you have. And with a few clicks, you can start forwarding those logs into managed OpenSearch. So we don't want to have you dealing with code and the headache of getting these things integrated. So simplifying those with a few clicks is kind of our motto here at DigitalOcean. So we're always looking to simplify things further and further. So again, our goal is to make sure that you just focus on building your application. We take care of the rest, right? You keep the fun parts, we'll take care of the boring parts, and we can work together that way.
So I think I just like the last statement, the fun and the boring part. But yes, I think it's not an easy job as well. So nothing to take away from you, Devnil. But I need to ask this because I as a solutions engineer, I interact with customers day in, day out. So the most, as you said, that you're going to hear the voice of customers. Tell me, when is the most awaiting scalable storage from MongoDB coming? Is it in pipeline, or is it in roadmap, or when can we expect that?
Yeah, it's a great question, Sri. Actually, we are now in closed beta. So if you have a MongoDB database and you want to take advantage of scalable storage where you just want your scaling to be more affordable, please reach out to us. We will get you enabled with MongoDB scalable storage. And we expect to be GEing that soon, just learning from customers, making sure we've hit the mark across the board. But with that, all engines on DigitalOcean will be scalable storage enabled. So affordable scaling top of mind for us and making that easy for you.
That's the first thing you should have told Devnal. That's okay.
Yeah,
It's
probably
good.
a good idea.
Yes, it's good to be parked at the ending. Definitely, I think it was great catching up with you, Devnal and Olina. Thanks for your time, and I still have a couple of slides to end it up, and then I'll open the floor for questions Q&A. So get up for that. But appreciate your time, Devnal and Olina, and your expertise and your commendable knowledge. I learned a lot today. At least to start with, I knew what to start and what to look into. And thanks a lot again, Devnil and Olina.
Of course. Thank you, Sri. Thank you to the audience for giving us your time.
Thank you.
There you go. I'm going to share my screen again just to check these other slides. And there you go. So yes, a basic glimpse of what we spoke today is about DigitalOcean managed databases as a whole are simple, scalable, reliable, secure, and affordable. Why? Because we give you the provision of easy setup and maintenance, and it is highly scalable. And also now the feature of scalable storage that is popping across all the managed databases offering. I think that's a good place to be there. And free daily backups, because everybody as the data is very critical, and we also believe that customers are already paying for the clusters and they don't need to pay for the backups. So as Devnal mentioned, the boring part, which is boring but important part, is maintaining the data. But again, when you're actually when you're actually having the critical mission data, it's not boring. It's like being on your toes. So I understand now from the engineering and product management part on how they design daily backups. So restoring data is also the key part, which will also help you to have automated failover whenever you enable standby nodes, and that's critical in case you have production workloads. And performance is the next thing. Who doesn't like having a performance? So ensuring that DigitalOcean is making sure that the performance is top notch, and excelling from where they are to where they're going to be down the lane with AI/ML workloads. And also to have end-to-end security. Obviously, the security is a key factor as well. Moving on, this is like we're going to have people who want to try managed OpenSearch. If someone who's not a DigitalOcean customer yet, please sign up and get a $200 credit. And wait, look forward, look at the chat for the link, because we have our product marketing manager Nicole posting the link there, where you could sign up and get $200 credit in first 60 days, and that's good enough to test and do a small POC for all the managed database offerings or any other product, and specifically OpenSearch. And in case if you're already a DigitalOcean customer but haven't tried managed OpenSearch, I would say get this promotional offer that you have, with that you have 50% off on the next 12 months when you spin up an OpenSearch cluster. And this is also a good strategy, and I believe for customers to test it out and see if that OpenSearch is your go-to place. And at all times, you can always reach out to our sales team and know more about the offers. So there ends the talk today, and I'm going to open the floor for questions in case we have anything. Thanks, Nicole, for the link there, and I would say definitely people should use that, because it's a good sign to test DigitalOcean products. And trust me, there are tons of products that are launching who are counterparts of or colleagues of, I would rather say colleagues of Devnil on the other products as well. And we are going to trying to collaborate a lot with managed databases and OpenSearch, as Devnil mentioned, that we're going to integrate that with all our products. So definitely a good to start with. So Devnil, till we have a question, I have a question on behalf of the audience here. Just let me know, like, what was the major thing that came into place when OpenSearch was in beta? Like, did you face what was the major change that you learned in your beta offering that you got it to the production? Any good feature, or is it like the pricing part, or is it the backups part, or whatever it is?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So we learned a lot during the beta period. I think the primary learning that we had was just around just integration. Just having OpenSearch by itself doesn't do much, right? You need to start forwarding logs, having that education and awareness on what steps to take to make your OpenSearch be a tool that you can draw insights from. And logs management was the overwhelming need of our customers at the time. I think 1 in 2 customers have asked for this directly, right? And so OpenSearch is, of course, the first step on the train, right? There's logs management. There's also metrics that customers need to manage. So that's something we're evaluating as well. But the clear feedback we got was just making it easy to use OpenSearch with Kubernetes, with that platform, with other databases, and also have capabilities that maybe you're not on DigitalOcean Managed OpenSearch. Maybe you're using Datadog or a third-party tool. So as part of that, we've also released API-based log forwarding. So you can have your logs going to any third party that you're using for logs management. So of course, you can use Managed OpenSearch, but we want to make sure that you have the flexibility to use any partner that you're using today. And I see Amit just asked a question. If someone is using Elasticsearch, is there a reason why they should switch over to OpenSearch? I think, Amit, that's a good question. I think a lot of the hyperscalers like AWS, for example, I know Uber, there's a lot of companies that have put their name behind OpenSearch. And so what I expect to see, and it's still early, is there might be even more feature divergence. And in now the world of AI ML capabilities, I think we might actually see more rapid development of OpenSearch for the capabilities just because you have a bigger community kind of driving this forward. So Shri, I'm not sure if you had any thoughts around this.
No, definitely. By Elasticsearch and OpenSearch, probably you covered a bit part on the open source, where the minds behind the product would change. Would be I would, rather than use than change, I would rather say that adhere to the latest stuff. Whereas Elasticsearch is like a product. Whereas OpenSearch, you have a lot of minds dealing with it. And I personally used OpenSearch first. So when someone used OpenSearch first and you try Elasticsearch, you feel like you already got the nick of it. So I probably give a little bit of extra affinity towards OpenSearch. Yeah, that's my basic thought. And that too, when you actually give a managed offering, why not? Definitely use it, because you have some log forwarding technology and also open source stuff.
Great question.
Yes, that's definitely. And I think this was actually partially covered by Peter. I think I'm just going back to Peter's question, saying we're currently running Elastic Cloud at this time. Usually I think you covered that part of AI/ML functionality. I think everything in the industry right now is about AI/ML. That has become a buzzword, and that's good to see that the products and the people's mindset, the usership themselves are tuning towards using AI/ML. So that keeps the product managers on their toes to get new features every now and then, and also adhering. So one question again on beta, because you mentioned that that you are actually getting managed. Okay, we already have a question. Sorry. How much incapabilities are there when it comes to indexes and search between Elastic and OpenSearch, and how do we see that on the client code? Olina, maybe you can take this up in case you have some thoughts.
So to be honest, maybe Devnil will be a better person for that. So, but there is a change, of course, in the client code, because those products are having so OpenSearch and Elasticsearch ever since that point when they diverged. do move their own directions. Depends on the functionality, depends on particular usage of the indexes in search, which Peter and his team has. There might be need to adjust some of the code. I don't know, maybe Devnil can add more on this.
Yeah, it's a good question. So the fork of OpenSearch happened at version 7.10. So if you're on version 7.11 of Elasticsearch, there might be more things like runtime fields and some specifics for Elasticsearch that you'll need to manage. But generally, on the whole, when it comes to index operations like mappings and the kind of basics, there's pretty much full overlap there, right? So that's where, Peter, our team's ready to help you kind of close those gaps as you come across them. So, yeah.
Yes. And I think Peter's questions are like, it helped me to learn a bit more. So looks like, thanks Peter again for your queries. So we just have a minute left. Any other last minute thoughts or queries?
I'll say one thing too. I think DigitalOcean as a whole, think about your bandwidth consumption as well, right? I think that's an important thing to consider about DigitalOcean if you don't know. We charge 1 cent per gigabyte for our egress bandwidth, which is multiple times less than hyperscalers. So if you're a bandwidth intensive application, video streaming, IoT, definitely take a look at DigitalOcean because we could save you a lot on that front. So that would be another reason to migrate into our OpenSearch specifically.
We're going to end in 30 seconds. And once again, Devnil and Olina, really appreciate your time. I know how busy it is, but thanks for educating us and taking us forward. We look forward to many more such occasions. And have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to all the attendees and Shri and Devnil for organizing this.
Thanks all.